Every morning the world starts quietly, one soft light at a time. Homes flicker awake, shops open. People take those first small steps into a brand new day. And in all of that ordinary movement, there's something kind of extraordinary. A moment worth noticing, a spark you feel before you even name it. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's small, but kindness shows up right on time. And every morning we choose to show up with you so we can look for that spark together.
Good morning. I'm Matt Roof, the Uncommon Kindness Guy, and this is Kindness Rising. Let's rise together.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome into Kindness Rising, your morning dose of hope, humanity, and heart. And I am so excited today to bring in a special guest who is showing us that kindness isn't softness, it's steadiness, it's choosing dignity when it would be easier to rush, dismiss, or dominate. Because our guest today leads in one of the most demanding, high-pressure industries there is, construction, where deadlines are tight, pride runs high, and leadership is often measured in decibels. And in a field still dominated by men, she has chosen a different path. Not louder, not defensive, not performative, just steady. Melissa Pearson Goodwin leads with clarity instead of criticism, standards without humiliation. And she is forging authenticity in rooms that don't always make it that easy, proving that kindness in tough industries isn't weakness, it's operational strength. Without further ado, I want to welcome with us today Melissa. Melissa, good morning, good morning, good morning. So glad to have you. How are you this kind morning?
Good morning. I hope you can hear me okay. My tech went wonky, so I'm on my cell phone.
We got you
Okay.
100%. You're looking great and smiling there, and we can hear you just great. Thank you so much. So,
Thank you
so
for having
much.
me.
Appreciate you. We have not had a chance to meet before. I know that. We've talked online several times, but haven't had a chance to meet. But I'm always into having new guests here to talk about the work that they're doing, and I was always curious about the things that you talk about. Clarity with kindness, kindness with clarity.
Yep.
Uh, it's very, very curious. Tell me about a little bit about yourself. We don't jump into, hey, who are you? What are you doing? All that kind of stuff. Let's just have a conversation, and you tell me about what you've got going on in terms of kindness and how you bring kindness to your work.
Well, I've been in this industry for 26 years, so aging myself a little bit, but I came from the era where kindness wasn't always a thing. In construction, my father grew up in the industry in the 70s and 80s, and so he tries to really lead with kindness. So I saw that kind of growing up, and then when he started this and I started it with him in 99, we kind of always try to do that. Obviously we're not always perfect and we misstep sometimes, but that's kind of what we aim for. We truly appreciate our crew and our clients, our vendors, so we kind of just always try to put that in the forefront. There's enough going on in the world right now. It's pretty big and scary. I don't care how old you are. So we don't want to add anything else to, anybody's already exhausting life.
I love that. That is absolutely kindness in action and recognizing that we are all definitely struggling with it right now in the world. There's so much coming at us all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to bring that kind of perspective to an industry that doesn't always. That must be unexpected from I would think from your crew and from your clients to lean into kindness in this kind of industry where the expectation is someone's coming at me with a powerful and perhaps aggressive position.
Yeah, it can be. I have one of my guys who was new to us last year. who was very surprised that we were understanding of personal things that he was going through, which was impacting his attendance. He was almost scared to tell us because he thought we would just fire him because that's kind of his
Mhm.
experience. So um, it can definitely, there are some really great people, especially in New Hampshire, I find that are that way. That I am, and I have seen that it's a rarity. I don't know why this industry, you know, kind of can be rough. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, it's from a generational, perhaps, perspective. But I am
mhm.
interested in that moment because you talked to me a little bit in our little pre-interview moments about that young team member who came in and didn't know what to expect, and how you chose clarity over criticism to change his trajectory. Is there something that you did intentionally different in that moment? Was it a conscious thought, or is it just who you are? I'm interested in your perspective when you're in that moment of vulnerability in an industry that doesn't typically deal with that. How did you intentionally change the way you approach that?
So when we're dealing with anybody who's dealing with a situation where they're struggling, as employees or vendors or anything, I try to always put myself into their shoes. And try to meet them where they're at. A lot of times it's like learning styles. And so we have people that maybe other people view them as incompetent or other not so nice words. And so I try to kind of be like, okay, well, how do you learn? Because it's not something, I mean, our generation has done a better job with it, but sometimes the older doesn't even consider it. It's just the way that this is the way we've always done it. So that's what I kind of try to focus on. My grandmother was Buddhist. I'm not, but she was. And so I learned a lot about kindness from her and how she approaches everything. And her whole thing was, obviously not to leave more harm. You want to leave people better than you found them. And
I
so
love
that's
that.
what I try to like weave that in. Like I said, I'm human. I don't always meet that mark, but it's what I aim to do.
Yeah, we all have
Meet,
to have that aspiration. And you said something that was really kind of poignant to me, and about the way other people perceive you, because uh, some of the people probably these people who you're talking about, you say learn differently, right? That's what I'm focused on here.
yeah.
And they may have been shamed in the past for the way that they learn, or what they need in order to learn. Just to be open to that perspective and the differences in the way people learn. Um, I'm interested from your perspective, what you've observed and what changes in those people when you show your compassion and your empathy for their learning style.
I have found a lot of people go into trades as a almost like last resort, right? Maybe they weren't that great in school, and so maybe they're like, we'll just go into trades, which I wish people would realize is an excellent first career choice, but that's another day. And so they've already dealt with being told in school, they're not in there how they interpret it. Maybe they're not good enough, or sometimes they feel stupid. They're actually really great, very intelligent human beings. You have to be to do what we do. You do math on the fly, and they just never realize that there's different ways to learn. And so sometimes they get surprised when we take a step back. A lot of times it can just be matching them with somebody else to teach them who also has the same learning style, so they teach the same.
I
And
love
they
that.
do, yeah, they do sometimes get surprised.
That's amazing, amazing stuff. We are here today on Kindness Rising this morning with Melissa Pearson Goodwin, who's bringing her unique perspective in a kind of unusual way in an industry that's typically known as a power industry, and an industry that is not always so nice to people. Melissa and her team are bringing kindness to construction, and this is just amazing, talking about the way recognizing differences in people can make a difference in your life, as well as in the lives of the others. Absolutely. Here's a little change. Going to change it up a little bit here with you, Melissa, because I want to talk about, if you will, call it presence over performance, because you have operated. You talked a lot about it a little bit before as a person where people questioned your even presence in the room before your expertise, before they know what you've got, what you bring, your 20 plus years, your wisdom, your experience, your expertise, your authenticity, all the things that make you a leader in your industry. But when you walk in that room, they're judging your presence before your expertise. Tell me about what happens in those situations, if you will, and where your perspective is coming from.
I find I have mainly two reactions. One is somebody accepts that, just sees me as a person, not just as a female. They will be like, it actually just happened the other day. I popped into a Zoom early and they were actually talking about me, which was so awkward. And one of the women said that, I should have tougher skin. And because she thought that, I don't know, it was weird. It was very weird. And I was like, I don't want tougher skin just because I'm in a male industry. I want to care how my words impact others, which was basically the whole thing. And so I do care how my message is received. I do care if people are made to feel welcome. So I get that one where they want you to kind of adapt and be more, I don't want to use the term masculine because I'm not into the whole feminine masculine thing, but more like stereotypical male, I guess I would say. Which, that's not who I am. And then I have the other ones where they will question everything. And I've actually been asked things like, do you understand what I'm saying? Which is, it's baffling to me that people
Absolutely.
still do. And they will question me. So they'll be, I'll start talking about something or they'll say, how much experience do you have? And then they'll start questioning me. Well, what would you do in this room? How would you put this room together? And I don't find that males get that same kind of questioning, like I've had crew members years ago, this young, sweet but kind of very arrogant kid was like, can you go get me this tool? And it was a made up tool. And I was like, what? Because I knew it was a made up tool, but it's just that kind of questioning. And I get it from younger people to older people. I got it from males and females.
Yeah, those assumptions. That's interesting
Yeah.
too, that it comes from all angles. But we talk about this a lot here on Kindness Rising and in the Mornings in the Lab Network, questioning the assumptions, the prejudgment of individuals based on our own cognitive biases
Hmm.
and things like that. I can imagine. I have actually, I don't know if you knew this, but I've been an administrator in hospitals and healthcare systems, and I have been on that side of the world of leading some pretty large capital construction projects, including a $15 million, 15,000 square foot addition to a hospital during the pandemic. And we were dealing with construction crews this entire time. So we have construction crews coming in and out of the hospital during the pandemic when we're all just trying to figure out how to keep ourselves safe, but try to keep those. So I understand. I just want you to know that I understand. I've been there on those tight deadlines, in those pressure packed situations. It's interesting though, because throughout that entire almost 4 year process, and working in the construction industry, even with the I'm going in a direction I didn't know I was going to be going, but I'm going there in my brain. Uh, in New York, I'm in New York State, and we have a lot of incentives for what MWBE incentives. So these are businesses owned by minorities and women, business owned owners. And so when we do out to our open bids, we went out with the intention and with the execution on hiring some women-owned businesses, um, and but those tended to be in more of the cerebral areas, the architecture, the design,
Mhm.
brilliant women. But we did have one woman's own business that was one of our testing sites, one of our testing engineers. She was a mechanical engineer, a testing engineer. Um, Not exactly sure where I'm going with this, but it's just reminding me that how much in those sites it is a male dominated industry, and I didn't, and how separate that process can be. So just trying to take some empathy for you and your and compassion with you in terms of being in that industry. When you're in those situations and someone comes at you with what you deem as total disrespect, right? How do you respond? How do you respond without ego? And how do you hold your standard without shrinking?
It took a long time. I used to really shrink and just doubt myself, almost gaslit myself, right? And then I started getting frustrated and angry and probably didn't react in the best way. And now I'm at a point in life where people don't know what they don't know, and maybe they've only dealt with women in the industry in the admin side, which I also handle. So sometimes they get confused. It's just, to me, it's easy. So I do that. I can knock out admin stuff fast. So now I just try to, I'm just myself. And I don't try to overperform, which I did for a little while because I felt like I had to prove myself. And
Hmm.
now I'm kind of at a place where I'm like, this is just, I watched my father in action, and he just is who he is and knows what he knows and doesn't, ask questions if he doesn't know, which to me is huge. So I'm just like, I'm just going to be myself. Like, he's not trying to prove anything. And my dad has never made me feel like that. I mean, as a little kid, I took an interest in helping him. I use that term lightly because I probably wasn't much help when I was a kid, around the house, and it was never like, well, you're a girl, you can. It was just like, all right, this is how we do it. So for him, he's never made me feel different. And so I was just that's just kind of how I started showing up. My guys respect me. Not at first. We had a newer crew until I kind of went in and helped them finish out the first punch list and cleaned up. And then it was like, oh, okay. Which respect is earned in construction. So that's just kind of, now I'm just kind of show up as myself, and take up the space without needing somebody to ask me to.
That's wonderful. That's a real presence, right?
Hmm.
Um, and because when your presence, when the leaders are present, regardless of who they are, and they show that they're really connected in doing the work, that trust goes beyond anything else that you could build with words or extra money or any of that. Absolutely. Here comes Dr. John Petrocelli, and I would much rather work with Melissa. Yeah, right. Much rather work with Melissa than with Steve Jobs. So he's got a different perspective. That's a friend of ours from in the labs getting involved in the chat. Dr. John Petrocelli, Roseanne Roof is out there, and a few others too. We appreciate everyone who comes and joins us here at Kindness Rising and as part of the Mornings in the Lab Network. We're talking with Melissa Pearson Goodwin, a champion in the construction industry, a leader leading in diversity and in leadership presence that might not necessarily be what is expected and what people experience. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today. I am interested in knowing a little bit more about the work that you are doing with other women and bringing up other leaders, not just the people in your world, which obviously are having a huge impact on these other employees and showing them how it can be done, but you're also do work with training with women in leadership. So I'd like to hear about your approach with that and what you bring to that experience.
Well, I have a huge passion for helping women, first of all, in the trades. really take up space. There's a lot of women who are interested in the trades and they just get kind of stuck in an office and they would rather be learning things. So I'm always looking to help them kind of find their voice, to raise their hand, to be able to really do what they want to do. But then also in other fields, I work with women because we have a confidence issue as women. I'm not sure why, but we do. So, I saw this thing that women, if they don't meet almost every single mark on a job listing that they want to apply, most men, however, will, because you guys just kind of go, okay, I could do that. I have transferable skills. We doubt ourselves. So
Mhm.
just trying to really work with women to let them see, they do have value, they do have a voice, and not to change into who they think they need to be. Like I'm really focused on having people embrace who they are because we're all unique, and who wants a bunch of the same people? That's boring. So, women come to me in all different industries and not sure exactly what they're looking to do, but just knowing that they want to have more of a presence. They want to speak up more in meetings. They want to bring their ideas up and not just kind of pass them on and let somebody else get the credit for it. So just really finding the voice and having a having us not talk ourselves out of something before we do it.
Oh yeah, I understand that. Absolutely, talking ourselves
Hmm.
out of things before we do them. Absolutely. Yeah. So, uh, here on, I appreciate what you're saying. Absolutely. I want to make sure that you have a chance to talk about how to connect with you. Talk a little bit about that and how people can connect with you and what working with you might look like for them.
So probably LinkedIn, the easiest way right now because we're revamping my website. But Melissa Pearson Goodwin on LinkedIn, or our that website is goodwinops.com, and then there's going to be a link to my personal one. It's just tech issues this week.
Yep.
Um, and I do a lot of work. Unpaid because I really have a passion for this, but I do also have programs that are paid. We're going to be putting more listings up of different, all different price points, in the free stuff on how to work with me. And, and I'm always open, to chatting on LinkedIn, people tossing ideas around. I'm not looking to make billions here. I'm just looking to help people and really make an impact.
That's an
So I'm,
amazing,
yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you want to make an impact. And one way that we make an impact here on Kindness Rising is to try to give people practical takeaways, things that they can think about it or do right in their day to day. So I'll ask you, could tell me one leadership behavior people can adopt, a mindset shift, or a communication practice that you think will help people today?
Go talk to I hate to use this term, but lowest person on the totem pole in your company, and just talk to them, get to know them, and they will start to tell you the pain points that are impacting your entire organization from top to bottom. As leaders, we tend to live in a bubble, and it's not helping our people.
I love that. That is a great idea to talk to all levels of people in the organization. I agree 100%. I have seen it in action in my career too, where leaders tend to talk to leaders in the bubble and don't open up the conversation to people who are really there on the front lines doing the work. Absolutely. Absolutely. Before we wrap up, though, I have one thing I want to say, and it's a total appreciation for you, Melissa, which is I hinted at it a little bit in the beginning. You jumped straight into this. No prep call. You gave me a couple little words of 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 response to a couple of questions. No rehearsal. You didn't need to get ready. You were ready, and I absolutely respect that courage to step forward and just say, I'm confident in myself. I know what I bring to the table. And this was a powerful conversation because of that. So I just want to say thank you for your steadiness your clarity, your honesty, and just showing up when leadership matters. Thank you.
Thank you
Absolutely.
for having me.
All right. Absolutely. Okay. So you've navigated all kinds of things, dominated job sites, high standards, leadership philosophy, but here comes the real pressure if you'll play along with me. Our lightning round. Are you ready for a lightning round of questions?
Okay.
All right. Your hard hat color, classic white, neon yellow, or something custom?
Red.
You're a red wearer. All right.
Yeah.
Blueprint. When you go in with your drawings, are they under your arm, or are you on a perfectly organized tablet?
Oh, we do old school
You're all
paper.
about the paper. Love
Yep.
it. Love it. And so here's the last one. You walk onto a job site and someone says, "Let me explain this to you." You smile politely, ask one clarifying question, or pull out a torque wrench and let your competence speak.
The twerk wrench was fun. I actually let them ramble on and then I introduced myself.
That's lovely. I can imagine them going on doing all their mansplaining and Melissa just going, let me
Yep.
tell you about who I am.
Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I just appreciate all the time that you have spent with us here. One last question before you go. Fill in the blank. Kindness on a job site is actually blank.
Oh, being human.
I love it. I love it. We are human here on Kindness Rising and in the mornings in the Lab Network. Thank you for bringing your humanity to us, tying it together with construction in the boardroom, in culture. You're everywhere, Melissa. I appreciate that. And proving that kindness isn't lowering the bar, it's raising the standard without lowering dignity. Thank you again for showing up today. We appreciate you. You are forever a member of the Kindness Rising community here and now, and I'll appreciate the opportunity to see you again in the future.
Yep. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Melissa. Have a great day. Okay.
You too. Bye.
All right. Stay uncommon and stay kind for sure. All right. And that was Melissa Pearson Goodwin here on Kindness Rising as part of the Mornings in the Lab Network, bringing her unique perspective as a woman with years of experience in the construction industry. Absolutely. It's the kind of stuff we bring you every day on Kindness Rising and over at Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. And I hope you'll continue to come here every day. Join us 7:30 a.m. Eastern for Kindness Rising, and check out Mornings in the Lab Network everywhere you go. Thanks again. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, stay uncommon and stay kind. What if your mornings could be inspiring and ridiculously fun?
Kindness Rising isn't just a show, it's a full wake-up vibe.
It's freaking fun, people.
Yeah, man, it's got real get-after-it energy.
I love it.
Wake up with Kindness Rising.
I help purpose-driven people grow their impact. 5-ingredient recipe to help you build your personal brand. Get out there and take kind action.
If it's live, they'll feel it.
On Kindness Rising, we bring you proven strategies and fresh ideas you can actually use. If you're not failing, you're not trying.
Exactly. Fail fast, rebound faster.
You'll see the bloopers and the genuine connections that make kindness contagious. We sometimes get into a little bit of trouble.
Pretty much my life made the list.
You can trust what you see right here is honest, respectful, and uplifting. Social impact organizations, and we always talk about them. Try kindness. It's way cheaper than therapy. You just made my day.